Hey everyone, Strangers103 here today with yet another ranked replay analysis. We're looking at TPG MiniBrit playing in Hindenburg on Mountain Range. This is EU server, I believe, MSB. And it's a game that was played over a week ago, week and a half ago, I believe, a little bit over that. We can check that in the post-battle results screen. Fortunately, I've been incredibly busy last week, so I really haven't had a chance to get across to this yet. So we're just going to read out the email. This is a very long and very well detailed email, so let's have a look here. This afternoon I had a satisfying ranked victory, which for most of the game looked like it was going to end in defeat. At the time of writing, the game holds a global ranked Hindi damage record, if that's an interest. Regardless, the game itself is an action-packed one. I watched the replay to make a quick jotting down of pluses and minuses as requested. I'm still shocked, so this might not be the best, but it's a start. In chronological order, I was indecisive on my positioning at the start. I kited too far away early on for supporting Shima, albeit I could still shoot battleships, though we're actually running reload upgrade, I suppose, because 17.8 range, that's not range upgrade. Good aim, especially on Kaba, always very useful. Good ammo choices. One could say I was a bit too conservative with the health, it was on the modest side, but wouldn't go as far as I was camping. We'll see about that. I am badly on Conqueror for a bit. Made the strategic blunder of not realizing their Hindi was close to a nearly contesting, so went the wrong way around the island and nearly cost the gearing his life. Good tactical awareness, other than a torpedo, but the game was won by then. Overall, I became giddy with Conqueror encounters, but wasn't exactly calm and collected for the rest of the game. Well, dealing with Conquerors is always annoying. Attaches a personal score, T-score detail report, and yes, no problem, I will get along with this analysis. So, let's see. Matchmaking-wise, we get a Kerr first and a Yamato, they get a Conqueror and a Kerr first, so... I mean, Conqueror, Yamato, they kind of counter each other due to Yamato lol penning the Conqueror's 32, and the Conqueror just spamming HE at the rather slow Yamato. And like we said, we're a little bit indecisive on whether we want to go west or around here, but at the moment, remember, they don't actually have a radar. They have no ability to radar. It's just a potential Minotaur, and I didn't really pay attention to chat whether he had radar or not, but judging by the fact that he's going here, he probably doesn't. So we're basically going to open up kiting on Charlie. We're not going to get a shot on the island. It's almost certainly behind the island. Going to open fire on the enemy's Grosser first. 5 centimeters HE pen, enough for the 5 centimeters of deck armor that the Grosser has, so pretty much everything we shoot in the early stages is going to deal damage. Although at some point we're going to start getting saturation hits and whatnot, but we're in a good position over here. Absolutely nothing wrong with this. They've got both their battleships over here. We have both of our battleships over here. So our position currently is actually pretty fair. There is absolutely nothing wrong with just sitting here and, well, spamming damage. And, the Kaba spotted. We could try to shoot at that, but again, we need to be careful because interning to engage all guns does make us broadside interning, which is not really where you want to be in Hindenburg, but spamming away at him, he's getting a bit on the far end and he's heading away, so it's kind of up to the cruiser group over here to try to shoot that. Perhaps the Kurfürst and Yamato could, but I bet you... The Yamato is probably the only one that could do it if he has portside gun turrets on the right side, because the Kurfürst, as we can see, all the guns on portside, he'd have to broadside to shoot the Kaba as well, so... We get absolutely nothing out of that, and that's absolutely fine. For the moment, if the enemy Kurfürst wants to push through, well, he's more than welcome to try, same with the Conquilol, but let's be completely honest, it's just going to be a bleed of their health that is completely unnecessary, and well, it looks like we don't have priority target, because we're being shot at, so, no, we do, it's just that they were shooting at the Kurfürst, they're trying to shoot the Kurfürst, but it looked more like they were getting the shells on us. Regardless, we're able to deal some fine damage over here. I have no bloody clue where that Hindenburg sent his salvo. Focusing on the Grosser Kurfürst is definitely the better choice over here. He's on fire, he's going to stay spotted for a lot longer. He's on lower HP, and he doesn't have a Prestige to instantaneously replace shift button. He's probably already used his heals, so... It would be nice if the Grosser Kurfürst on our side decided he was going to continue shooting they just load HE and to spam these guys down together so we can, get fires on them and whatnot. We're kind of moving around the island at the moment, so we're going to lose the ability to shoot the Kurfürst for a while. Looks like someone wants to shoot the Conqueror. Looks like the Yamato wants to shoot the Conqueror. I'm not so sure about that. Granted, he can lol pen with AP anywhere on the Conqueror almost. So it is, in a sense, absolutely fair. Losing the ability to shoot the Kerfuffle for a while, so we're swapping to the Conqueror. A thought would have been to load armor piercing. He is broadside enough to the point where armor piercing can deal some reasonable damage if we get to land them correctly. There's no guarantees about that. But if he wants to not reverse himself into either the Kerfuffle or an awkward island position, he may actually have to kind of angle. Shooting at the Kaba, 50mm of armor on the Kaba, so our HE will penetrate that by, well, just hitting. Otherwise, ooh, that's a really good dispersion up there. Ooh, that was juicy. Good shots overall. He's down on engine and probably doesn't have a boost up. He's trying to turn a little bit, but we should still be able to clip him with a couple of shells, especially considering he just turned back. So we get one hit out of that. Good shots on him having his engine down, makes it a heck of a lot easier to hit. One option would have actually been when he's broadside to shoot AP. Again, 50mm of armor that could potentially have armor inside of a ship and done like 7-8k per salvo, especially the first one. Even though it's slightly overled, so I think HE AP there would have really done about the same. But some good shots, very good shots on the Kaba over there, getting another hit on him. Hopefully it's a sticky fire, and it does seem to be a sticky fire. And that was a bit of luck from the Conqueror. No, actually no, that was not the Conqueror. That was the Colossal Kerfuffle with the 42cm cannons, 1,350 damage. Someone in the chat's going no cap equals lose. Yes, but someone has to get back and deal with the Kaba. Gearing should just go in there and liberate the gearing. Zao Minotaur should easily be able to handle the alpha side. So, I mean, for the moment, the Kerfuffle isn't too happy about us. Unfortunately, no one really gets to spot him at the moment, but he does not lull pen on 30 deck and 30 upper, so it's not a problem. Gearing wins against the gearing. So now it's just the Kaba. Looks like someone is frantically pinging for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Our Yamato is being bled more heavily than the enemy team seems to be getting bled on their own. It's the Kerfuffle that doesn't seem to be too happy about something. Our guns are facing the wrong way, and really, it is up to that Minotaur to go in there and colonize on site. Launching out plane, yep, we can potentially shoot the bow of the Kerfuffle, and again, it's 32mm of armor, so we can get the damage in. Well, the awkward thing here is that our Yamato is currently bleeding health, and Correction is about to die. Our Colossal Kerfuffle is on a reasonable amount of health. Let me get the map down to a reasonable size. But again, trying to deal with a Hindenburg, especially a double Hindenburg, is pretty much a non-tenable deal. So at this point, I would just go forwards. The recommended deal is to go forwards here, turn around, and get rid of the enemy Zao over there. Try to deal with the Kaba if he gets spotted, because these battleships are not going to die anytime soon. This guy should be realizing this. He should be making he should have been making either a move in here or a move away, because we can't really sustain such an engagement, and getting rid of the guy over there, would be much better, and, being able to pressure him, because we can basically negate these guys and make the guys on the right side completely irrelevant, and, be in a position where we can actually engage the targets that we need to engage, and it seems like we're trying to set ourselves up for that right now. I don't think the Kaba is the biggest threat over there. Definitely would be trying to load AP against this Zao in this kind of a range. And there we go. Looks like we do have Expert Loader, but I think we're a little bit too late for that because he's going to try to evade torpedoes. But again, AP against the Kaba is the perfectly viable choice of ammunition as well, but that AP salvo ain't going to do anything. Little bit more lead. Actually, no, we're shooting into HE now, but our Zao goes down, which is a bit annoying, and the Kaba actually wasn't going full speed. We did manage to burn down the Colossal Kerfuffle with a bit of help. Must have been quite a fair help from our Kerfuffle, getting a good salvo in, loading back into AP for the Zao. But at the moment, the problem is that we don't actually have anyone to be able to deal with the Zao. Our Zao's gone down, and I would shoot the Kaba at all costs right now. The Kaba is so incredibly low HP. Our Minotaur is not in a position to deal with that. He's angled, so I definitely think this was a very, very, very bad salvo. Sure, we get 50k on the Zao, and somebody, the Minotaur does actually manage to get the Kaba out of the game somehow, with, a bit of spot of luck over there. Stopping back into HE, because the cruiser is not really going to maintain giving us a broadside, and he wants to angle to the Minnow, who is currently in a really awkward spot. But, well, we basically dealt with the important things, so we basically farmed down the enemies. We farmed down the enemy's Kerfuffle, which is quite nice. Our Kerfuffle does wipe out the Zao, so he made the absolute correct decision to join us in trying to spam the western side of the map. Rushing the Conqueror is not actually necessary at this point. That is not necessary. The Conqueror, just leave him to his own means. What needs to be done is that the guys up there, these guys need to be dealt with. The Conqueror is irrelevant, because currently this guy he doesn't have the firepower. He cannot deal with anything over there. In fact, he is having a little bit of trouble in his broadside to the Conqueror, which doesn't matter. AP or HE, something like that could easily happen. So he needs to disengage from that. He probably would have been better for him just to, take the chance. But rushing a Conqueror, yes, we can do it. yes, he won't really lol pin us to death out of the blue, which is quite sweet. But, well, our team currently has a bit of a firepower disadvantage because we still have a Destroyer and a Minotaur, so it's only us and the Grossokurfus which are actually combat capable, and well, there goes the Minotaur, which, well, let's face it, we didn't really lose much out of it. I mean, obviously we lose the points, but in terms of combat capability, we don't really lose too much, and, well, the Conqueror is... Well, he's blocking C, sure, but if we're able to get rid of the Hindenburgs, then, you know, that would have been better. Obviously, the Minotaur being alive would have been useful as well, but at this point, we're still able to rush down a Conclaw, and if he refuses to shoot anything other than high explosives, then we can just insert gun, try to protect our torpedo salvos on one side, like bait him into showing the other. Using Hydro here to see if he's behind the island, but I don't think he is. I'm pretty sure he's pretty far away. He's got to be at least 9 kilometers of a rush. An idea would have been to have AP for the first salvo in case he does broadside, and it looks like we are taking that chance. We're now spotting him as our guns come online, and there we go, good choice. Incoming HE, which means that we can easily angle to engage our full battery over here. If you're trying to get close to him, then, well, we need to make sure we try to pre-heal. And if anything, show our port side so we can lose our port side torpedoes so we can push in with, and then torpedo with starboard, because that is the... Well, whether this was intentional or not, that is definitely the right thing. Also, Conqueror does only regenerate 60% of AP damage, so we're still able to pressure him in the late game. Idea would have been to hard turn starboard, just launch all the torpedoes onto the corner right now with our port side. It's only one launcher, the other one's permanently buggered. But again, just launch them right now, turn ourselves back around, and keep going towards them like this, because again, it's our starboard side that is alive. We need to protect that. And also, pre-triggering heal is incredibly important. Our Kurfus should be able to handle the Hindenburg very good. And, well, we just need to just maintain reasonably angle in case for some bloody reason they decided to load into AP. Could actually be quite dangerous to us. But that torpedo salvo is, in general, just to threaten him. There we go, finally using our heal a little bit on the laydown. I would have used it earlier. If we want to maintain all of our guns, we can use our rear toes to shoot into his stern area and our front toes to shoot at his bow. We do need to be careful because at this angle, AP into there is going to be quite a mess. And considering exactly the fact that he hasn't fired for a while, and I think he had desynchronized gun turrets earlier, this is a very, very good move for us. So we can now basically angle in. Do not try to use torpedoes right now. We're not in a position to do that. We need to get right up to him. And then we need to swap into wide spreads. That's the important thing here. Wide spreads into his bow. Mid-bow sections, we can maintain the angle. We just need to rush him down, maintain this kind of an angle so that he's going to have a hard time getting these turrets into our side. And there we go. He just fired again all the way into our belt. So GG Conqueror, you are dead. Load the wide spreads and let him rip. I mean, at this range, you're not going to miss anything. So just let him rip, let the torpedoes go. Just kill them off, use the guns, make sure he doesn't get to reload again, mash that R button, Damacon, capture Charlie. The enemy Hindenburg in mid is actually bleeding a little bit, so we're now actually back in a position to engage him. Remember to turn a little bit to the port side so we can get behind this island to cap, or just head straight into it and use our rear guns to shoot the Hindenburg in front of us as well. We're getting to the point where, well, the Hindenburg cannot conceal himself due to our gearing, but the gearing needs to be careful because this Hindenburg can just pop up behind there and hydro him, and this guy can actually quite easily shoot him. Looks like we're having a bit of a stressful moment, having just finished a fight with the Conqueror. The Conqueror was quite nice to us. He didn't know how to aim, and now is the time to swap back into out of armor piercing into high explosives because of the fact that our Grossokurfus has died. He no longer has a reason to poorly angle against us. We can use our front toes to shoot over the island, this little bit of corner here on the island, because the gearing is still spawning. But this guy, we do need to pick up the kill on this guy ASAP, because it's going to pull our points back so that we can lose a ship without losing the game. And most importantly, this Hindenburg is not actually in a position to shoot at the gearing. And, oh dear, gearing. That was a really bad decision you just made there, gearing. You smoking up there could easily, well, it means you're no longer spotting, but hey, he gets a torpedo hit on him, so that's all fair and square. So now it's us versus one Hindenburg. I actually don't remember the exact health, and chances are having that, well, MiniBrit having gone through what seemed to be a rather significant emotional event with the Conqueror in his face, well, realistically speaking, well, we probably didn't notice the Hindenburg's health, but we still have a gearing alive, and the gearing needs to run. He just needs to make sure he stays safe. That is the absolute correct thing for him to do. We could be trying to head around this side of the island. It's unlikely we're going to be able to he's going to be able to reset us. The time isn't enough for him to get his shell to us, so we just need to go there, support this gearing. The gearing just needs to run, because at this point, it's going to be up to us to kill the Hindenburg. And the gearing could have tried to tuck himself in there, but like the problem is he doesn't know exactly which way the Hindenburg is coming from, so the right thing for him to do is to run, because the Hindenburg wants to chase. Loading into armor piercing, which is good. The gearing can just, basically mirror match the Hindenburg, and this is basically where the gearing would have liked to have his smoke, so he can smoke up and reset the Hindenburg and stop him from obtaining the cap. But we should have the time to get the shells on target, provided we don't miss, and I think we're going to we do get the hit, so that is incredibly important because it stops him from obtaining the cap. Sure, he's blocking them, but at this point he is not able to get the cap, and I'm not really sure why the gearing is firing. He was trying to get the reset, but again he used the smoke at the wrong moment, which is definitely bad. However, the gearing is, the Hindenburg's HE doesn't deal enough damage, and the enemy Hindenburg is not in a position to engage all of his firepower against us, and we now have a pretty substantial 10,000 plus health advantage against him, so all we really needed to do is, realistically speaking, just to shoot at him. That's about it. Like, we don't need to try to broadside him or anything, we just need to... We can, realistically speaking, even just slow down our ship, and, well, hey... We could just slow down our ship and go in, just spam HE at him from afar with our bow onto him, because he's spamming AP at us for some bugger all reason. The other option is to go in for the ram or a close quarters torpedo trade. Again, the important thing here is that the gearing does not get himself killed. It is absolutely a viable option because he is so incredibly low HP. We could also have been traveling it at 3/4 speed and whatnot, but looks like the enemy Hindenburg is trying to broadside us, so just press D for stats. Ooh, looks like we made the choice to load into AP. Definitely a good decision there. There we go, loading into armor piercing. At this point, at this low HP, I would just basically aim it and shoot it up into his... That's not going to do anything. That's all going to deflect. Take a torpedo, though, which is a bit awkward, but... I mean, let's say it. Game is kind of on, as long as we can kill him. Shooting him into his gun turret area, and looks like we're launching torpedoes, but the fight gets a kill on him. Finishing a pretty, well, really incredible, almost 300,000 damage game. Someone in chat said, help him, which is not really the right thing to do. That was an engagement between us and the enemy Hindenburg, and we had the health. So, that's really it. It was our fight to win. Enemy Hindenburg had really, really, really bad ammunition choice. He was shooting a lot of AP against us when he should have been loading HE to try to just HE trade. And maybe if he, for some magical miracle, gets 4 fires on us, he could have had a potential chance to beat us, but... He still would have to deal with the gearing at that point, but if he killed us, he was just going to win the game to points. Sure, he didn't get the cap, but chances are, if he could just push the gearing away, not die to his torpedoes, and, reset the Charlie side cap, I think, if I remember correctly, he would have been able to win, but I don't remember. Anyways, 2 citadels, I think 1 on the Zao, 1 on the Hindenburg, or is it double on the Zao? I don't really remember. Only potentially awkward thing was not finishing off the Kaaba, just personally not knowing the result and not thinking about it, even knowing that we had AP loaded and whatnot for the Zao, which we did get a 15k salvo against, which is a very, very good result. I still would have personally just tried to get rid of the Kaaba just to make sure he does not escape and come back to become a nuisance later on. Because that thing, it's fast, it can still deal with the gearing quite well, because the 21mm of armor of the gearing does not resist the Kaaba's 130mm guns. They only resist 5-inch and 12.7cm HE fire. Heck, I think they resist 12.8s as well, but that's beyond the point. But, and actually only destroyer 12.8s. The battleship 12.8's pen, is it... Well, it's caliber by 4 for them, so do the maths. But regardless, 300,000 damage over quite a lot of fire damage is incredibly good. We had a very good start with the enemy battleships feeding us a lot of HP. We did manage to finally pick up the enemy's Grosser first. We made a good decision to turn around using the island, although we could have made it slightly earlier. There's absolutely no picking up on that play whatsoever. The play that was made was correct. Use the island to completely negate the enemy battleship, and with that we did actually manage to secure the kill on the Grosser first, ensuring that he's no longer able to engage our western flank. So we got rid of him, and we managed to engage and destroy the Kaaba and Zao group over there. Later on, rushing down the Conqueror, which at that point was a good move to make. It was a risky move in a sense. We should have died if the Conqueror knew how to If the Conqueror knew how to kill us, he would easily have been able to kill us, but all of his shots went into our, well, the vast majority of what he shot went into our belt, which is rather bad for him. I don't think he had the 18-inch guns. If he had the 18-inch guns, he'd lol pen our side and deck. It won't lol pen 32, but we don't have 32. We have 30, so the Conqueror would absolutely lol pen that. But I think he was using the 16.5-inch guns, the 419s. So I don't think he would have. He wouldn't have been able to fully lol pen us, I think. But regardless, it doesn't really matter too much. All of his AP will lol pen our 27mm bow, and none of it will lol pen the 40mm tapering belt. So in the end, if the Conqueror knew how to shoot, this would have been a defeat. We would not have been able to kill him. Our Curvers kind of made a decent choice at that point. If you want to go for the risk, which, well, we realized that we had to go that, at that point with the Curvers just running away, well, the two options were to either try to kite that and secure the northwestern side of the map and basically hold A and B, ignore C. The other one is we go back for the Conqueror. Assuming the Conqueror would have killed us, it would have been a defeat. If the risk in this case did actually pay off. The safer play that would have... Well, at that point, I'd say our star was pretty much secure. Both of these plays, if you want, the kite away, try to deal with the northern side group, and the go and kill the Conqueror, both of these I think would have the same possibility of resulting in a win, just a question of how. Rushing the Conqueror opened up flanks against us, for us again. Running away from that would have opened up the northwest, so both of these plays would likely result in a win because their cruisers had, in the end, bled to our Curvers quite a bit, and we were basically full HP going in for any fight we would have taken, so we would have had a lot of plays, if you want, available to us. Personally, knowing me, I would have gone for the let's just go deal with the northern group earlier option, although I'm not much of a cruiser player myself, and I certainly do not like the German cruisers because they are incredibly slow. Anything short of 35 for a cruiser is bad in my opinion. So I just don't enjoy that kind of stuff. That's why I play fast ships, that's why I play destroyers and to an extent fast cruisers, and any battleship underneath 30 knots is absolutely horrible for me to play. But those are my opinions on things. So to summarize, 300,000 damage, very well farmed. We did the job of the Hindenburg, even though we didn't really make the decision to go where we did early. It really wouldn't matter. We got there when the target started appearing and the farm kind of showed up. So we farmed ourselves like 100-something thousand damage, ended up with a Curvers kill for a Wither Arsonist. A little bit of damage on the Conqueror, but that was pretty much irrelevant in the beginning. It didn't actually pressure the Conqueror into the late game. The enemy team didn't want to push, we didn't want to push. Our Yamato got himself in an awkward position because that's what most Yamato players do end up doing because it's a slow battleship. We made the absolute right choice to go and deal with the western side when we did by just negating the battleship by using an island to stop them from being able to deal with us. Very good shots against the enemy's Kaba, who didn't really seem to be doing what he should have been doing. The Kaba is a ship in rank. Well, he did camp the flag, which is good, put pressure. But the Kaba is the type of ship that needs to be trying to get the enemy team to chase you, get the enemy team to get themselves out of the match, get the enemy team to chase you, become useless. He didn't achieve that, so he didn't actually be very useful for his team. Our Shimmy decided it didn't want to cap in the beginning, probably for the better, even though they don't have a radar. I'm not sure what spec our Minotaur had, but considering the fact that he never smoked up with the Hindenburg group in front of him, he probably was radared and decided he wanted to play the northwestern side play the western side of the map. Pretty fair, and I think that ended up actually resulting in the kill on the enemy gearing in the beginning, so that was not a bad choice at all. And in the late stage, we decided to go for one of multiple ways to try to win the game, and that was rush down the enemy's Conquilol, freeing up the eastern side of the map at the cost of, well, more pressure on the western side of the map. But at that point, it's just juggling resources. I cannot with any way, shape, or form say if we made the right or wrong move. I mean, obviously, our move was not bad because we won thanks to it, but there's no way of knowing what the result of the other moves would have potentially been. And of course, we did get pretty lucky that the Conqueror had no clue how to shoot us. He could easily have been able to kill us if it just targeted our lower front bow area. So if you're being rushed by Hindenburg like that, don't shoot his belt, shoot his bow. Anyways, let's have a look at some of the post-battle results screens. Team scores, so we almost pick up 4,000 experience. The guy underneath us, the Kerfus, who also seemed to have a pretty solid game overall, 2k XP for him. Enemies out gets 1.5. Other than that, his battleships seem to have a really bad time of it, which is incredibly useful. And the Hindenburg just didn't seem to be able to farm up enough damage because the Zao seemed to have gobbled it all up. So, yeah, our Gearing did manage to stay alive in the end. He could have stayed on the island. However, at that point, he didn't actually know if the Hindenburg was going to go around the south or the northern end of the island. And, well, if he'd been caught by it, then he'd be screwed, and we'd be screwed. So the Gearing made the right move to run. And at the end of the day, once we get close enough, we can just shoot the Hindenburg and stop him from being able to obtain the cap, and that's exactly what we did. If Hindenburg had gotten the cap, it would have been awkward because, well, then they would be eventually able to tick past that on points. And let's see, here it is. We got our portside torpedo to permit. Not a big deal, not a big problem. The Kerfus the Conqueror decided to stop behind the island. Speaking of battleships, 115 farm for the Kerfus, 86 on the Conqueror. Most of it was on the ending stage of the match. 23 on the Zao, with one of them being a 15k AP salvo. Very good. Good damage against the Hindenburgs overall, and 15k off the Kaba. Good pressure against him. Very good shooting against this guy. One potential thing to do is to actually load AP against him. Again, 50mm of armor, and the German AP having much higher damage per shell compared to their HE. It's 825 non-saturated with HE and 590 with an AP overpen, with the ability to pick up much higher damage with full pens with AP that you will never ever get with HE. So the cheeky risk there would have been to load AP against a broadside Kaba. There's no guarantees about it, but then again, there's no, you saw eight HE hits, like 4.5, almost 5k damage, and if those had been 8 AP hits, well, you know what? Let's just do this. 590, 592 in fact, 590 multiplied by, I would say, 8 hits. We would have done the exact same with AP, with a potential ability for that to become a heck of a lot more with AP pan, so. But otherwise, we had incredibly on-point AP and HE loading times. Only one thing with the Hindenburg in the late stage where we continued shooting AP. I guess we did not notice in the bottom right corner that the Hindenburg did kill Aguilas Kerfus, which meant that the Hindenburg no longer had AP pressure on a crossfire, and he could then return to angling against our AP. So if we'd realized that a little bit earlier, we could have loaded into HE a little bit earlier, but that would not really have changed the outcome of this game. At that point, our Gearing being alive, even though the Gearing did make a small mistake with the smoke screen, he should not have smoke screen there. He could have been able to keep that smoke screen to basically hide himself from the Hindenburg after the Hindenburg fires his guns, so that we are in a position to engage the Hindenburg and to permanently engage the Hindenburg by simply pushing him. And the Gearing just needs to put a smoke screen up so that he can shoot through the smoke screen while we're spotting the Hindenburg to be able to apply additional damage against them without staying inside a smoke screen and just maintaining motion. Yeah, with that, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this replay cast. I really do hope that you maybe potentially learned something out of it. If you did, give me a like, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll be trying to post content as I go, but this is basically my exam week right now, so I cannot guarantee you guys any real content, like I've been saying. And even though I should have had more time last week, I didn't. Had a event over the weekend, X Games Norway stuff, that I had to go deal with, which meant that I didn't have time over the weekend to do anything. But let's just put it this way: if I put out content, I put out content. If I don't put out content, well, I'm probably too busy with exams, but hopefully I'll do well on them. We'll see. Anyways, take care, have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.